Okay, let's unpack this. We are tackling a topic that is literally at the root of everything we eat.
And you mean that quite literally.
I do. The ground beneath our feet. The research we dove into argues that pretty much all the problems humanity faces with food.
And we're talking about everything from nutrition deficits to toxins in our diet.
Exactly. It all comes from one single fundamental source, the state of the soil, the earth itself.
Right. And this deep dive is really designed for you to get a quick but really thorough understanding of why modern agriculture is, well, structurally failing.
But it's not just about the problem, right?
No, more importantly, we're going to explore this compelling case for a project called Prime Eden, which is all about this idea that restoring life to the soil isn't just about survival.
It's an opportunity.
It's the next great economic and humanitarian opportunity.
And to even start, we have to kind of relearn what soil is.
Absolutely.
Because if you just think of it as, brown dirt or some neutral stuff you add water to, you're missing the whole story.
You are. The material we reviewed defines soil not as geology, but as this complex, unique, and just incredibly intricate ecosystem.
They call it the intestine of nature.
Which is such a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
It instantly tells you this system is all about digestion and creating nutrients.
And the sheer scale of life here is it's staggering.
It is. We're talking about billions of individual organisms.
Billions. In what, a field?
In a single gram of healthy soil. Microbes, fungi, bacteria. It's more biological activity than you'd find on some small continents.
That's unbelievable.
So this system is undeniably alive. It breathes, it communicates with these complex electrical and chemical signals.
It's a factory.
A massive biochemical factory. It's synthesizing vitamins, hormones, antioxidants, enzymes.
So the big shock then is that plants aren't just drinking water and minerals.
Not primarily, no. They are feeding on the life that the soil creates and prepares for them.
So we have this amazing self-sustaining system, this factory of life. If it's designed to regenerate, how do we break it?
Well, the sources argue it was a devastating two-stage process, and the first one was purely mechanical.
This is where it gets really interesting.
It is. It starts with tillage, just digging, turning, and mixing the soil.
And what's wild is that it wasn't done to kill things originally.
Oh, not at all. It was done because it gave farmers this immediate short-term boost in fertility.
It's a temporary high, right? You till the soil and suddenly your crop looks great this year.
Exactly. And the sources explain the mechanism. The physical act of flipping the soil, it's just lethal to that microscopic ecosystem.
How so?
Well, you take the aerobic fungi and those vital mycorrhizal connections, the ones that need oxygen near the surface.
And you bury them.
You force them deep down where they suffocate. At the same time, you expose the anaerobic microbes, the ones that live deep down without oxygen.
Into the sun and air.
Which kills them instantly.
So you get this massive immediate die-off.
A huge die-off. And the plant then feeds on all those dead microbial bodies.
Which are full of nutrients.
Full of complex, highly available elements. It's a nutrient surge.
The sources had a really powerful analogy for this.
They did. It's like burning your own finger for heat.
Wow.
You get that immediate temporary energy, a great yield for one season, but the long-term cost is the permanent destruction of the resource.
You've killed your workforce for a one-time paycheck.
Precisely. And as tillage continued, biodiversity just plummeted. The land was depleted.
So once the life force was gone, once the soil was basically sterile from all that digging,
then came the next logical, though catastrophic, step. The chemical assault.
We tried to solve a biological problem with chemistry.
Exactly. We started flooding this weakened, sterile ecosystem with aggressive chemicals, pesticides to kill the remaining microbiota.
Fungicides.
Fungicides, which directly destroy the very fungi that are essential for feeding the plants in the first place.
And herbicides. They don't just kill the weeds, do they?
No, they often shatter the root systems of the cash crops themselves. They just inhibit the plant's ability to communicate and get resources.
And on top of all that, we started leaving the ground bare.
Which is catastrophic. It's like giving the soil sunstroke. You get rapid moisture loss, the death of bacteria.
And the worms and insects leave.
They're gone.
Yeah.
And they are vital for aeration and nutrient cycling.
So the fallout from this 1-2 punch of tillage and chemicals is profound. When you lose the microbes and the fungi, the soil literally falls apart. It loses its structure.
It does. It loses its ability to hold water. And, crucially, it becomes hydrophobic.
It repels water.
It repels it, which leads to massive runoff, erosion. The soil just turns into inert dust.
And the only things that can survive in that are...
The toughest, most resilient pathogenic strains. And once they dominate, they're extremely hard to get rid of.
So if we connect all this destruction to the bigger picture...
The inevitable result is a profoundly stressed plant. It's not living, it's just surviving.
It can't reach its full potential.
Not even close. The sources use this startling metaphor. Modern soil is a body without blood.
A body without blood.
There's no symbiosis, so no available minerals in the right forms, no bacteria, so no vitamins or amino acids, and absolutely zero fungal immunity.
And that lack of life translates directly into the plant itself.
It does. Without that microbial assembly line, the plant can only build its most basic skeleton. The sources describe these plants simply as hungry.
I have to ask, though, if the plant is hungry and weak, why does it absorb toxins so easily? Is it just that the good guys are gone?
It's both. But there's a key biological mechanism. When that competitive microbial environment is gone, the plant has no defense system.
Oh, it's vulnerable.
A healthy microbial community actively fights off pathogens. Without it, a weak plant becomes a passive sponge for pathogens and really dangerous toxins like aflatoxins and mycotoxins.
And this is where the quality crisis hits you, the eater.
Right.
The food has that empty taste because it's lacking those complex compounds and it's weak and toxic.
Exactly. Eating this kind of product, according to our sources, is like eating cardboard.
Empty shells.
Just empty shells. And the tragedy is, we've become masters at maintaining the form-making food look beautiful and glossy on the shelf. But we've completely hollowed out the content.
So we know the problem. And the first solution everyone thinks of is organic farming.
Right.
But the sources challenge this heavily. They say it's often a marketing trap.
It's a crucial distinction. The central flaw with a lot of conventional organic farming is this belief that just adding tons of organic matter compost, manure will fix everything.
But if the soil is dead and sterile, what's the point of adding more dead stuff?
There's nothing there to process it.
Yeah.
You need that biological machinery, the microbes, the fungi, to break that material down into nutrients the plant can actually use.
Otherwise, it just sits there.
It sits there.
Right.
Or worse. The powerful pathogens that are left will eat it and still infect the plant with toxins. You've just fed the bad guys.
And many organic farms still use suppressants, right? They're just natural ones.
That's right. They substitute chemical poisons for biocides. They might use a fungus like trichoderma to suppress disease.
Which is technically organic.
It is, but it's still fundamentally a killer. It suppresses the immediate disease, but it also suppresses other beneficial species. You still get a massive loss of biodiversity.
Even something that seems harmless, like nitrogen fertilizer.
Even organic nitrogen, like urea, adding large amounts acts as a sterilizing agent. It makes the soil acidic.
And it shuts down the natural process.
It stops the most crucial players, the nitrogen-fixing bacteria, from drawing free nitrogen from the air. The plant becomes dependent on outside inputs, just like in conventional farming.
So what's fascinating about this Prime Eden perspective is the shift in focus.
Yes, it's a complete shift away from surface-level inputs, chemical or organic, and toward restoring the core intelligence of the soil microbiome.
This is where the real opportunity is.
It is. The sources see the microbes and fungi as the true farmers. They perform functions we've mistakenly tried to bypass with chemistry.
And you just can't.
You can't. Think about what they do.
Yeah.
They synthesize all types of amino acids. They release growth hormones and natural antibiotics.
Nature's medicine cabinet.
And its defense system. They build soil structure. They manage water. They literally pull moisture from the air onto organic carbon. They fix carbon and nitrogen from the atmosphere.
It all comes down to that symbiotic engine, this exchange that happens at the root.
The ultimate trade agreement. The plant uses photosynthesis to create simple sugar glucose.
A low-value currency.
A very low-value energy source.
Mm-hmm.
It shares that sugar with microbes to attract them, and in return, the microbes process and package these incredibly complex, high-value nutrients.
So the plant pays with cheap sugar, and it gets back this perfect, custom-made meal replacement shake.
That's a great way to put it. It's peak efficiency. And tying this whole network together is the mycorrhiza.
The fungal network, the nervous system of the soil.
It's like the underground internet for the plant kingdom. It connects plants, lets them share resources, defensive signals, even antibiotics.
And it massively expands their reach.
Dramatically. It increases the effective root feeding area by 100, even 1,000 times. It's absolutely essential for plant immunity.
Which is why the sources say fungicides have nearly wiped it out.
It should be in the Red Book. It should be considered an endangered structure.
So the mission of Prime Eden becomes really clear. It's not just about better yields.
No, it's about restoring the fundamental principle of life in the soil.
The goal is to make the Earth alive, rich, active, and vibrating.
And when the Earth returns to its full power, the food that comes from it naturally becomes medicine.
So what does this all mean for you personally? The material is very clear that this lack of life in the soil has a direct and profound impact on human health.
The outcome is, unfortunately, predictable. Weak, toxic, empty plants translate directly into chronic health crises for people.
You see weak energy, chronic inflammation from all the toxins.
You see hormonal disruptions, major deficiencies, because the minerals just aren't there in a usable form.
And the sources mention a really critical detail, connecting the soil right down to our DNA.
That when the soil is dead, the specialized enzymes we need to work with our own DNA to assemble copy DNA into RNA for cell repair.
They're just missing from our food.
They're missing. Without those biological tools, our bodies just struggle to do their most basic job.
And finally, there's the loss of what they call secondary metabolites.
Right. When a plant lacks symbiosis, it uses all its energy just to build its basic structure, its skeleton.
It doesn't have the energy to create its defenses.
Exactly. So it fails to synthesize the things that matter most for our health.
The antioxidants, the flavonoids, the aromatic molecules.
The things that give food its potency, its flavor, its medicinal quality.
So we're just eating biologically poor material instead of actual food.
Precisely. The transition to a Prime Eden system is viewed by these sources as a path to solving our most fundamental problems of chronic disease and energy deficiency.
So the sources have laid it all out, this beautiful, complex machinery of living soil, explaining that plants essentially pay a life rent, a little bit of sugar, to the soil microbes for their highly prepared, bioavailable nutrients.
And the current system is one of mechanical and chemical theft, which results in weak plants and empty food.
And if the entire global food system is characterized by this emptiness, this lack of vitality, and that results in widespread human energy deficiencies and chronic inflammation,
then doesn't that raise the most important question for you to consider?
How much of our modern struggle for health and vitality is simply the direct, undeniable result of humanity refusing to pay the necessary life rent to the ground beneath our feet?
That's the thought that needs to take root.